Welcome to Yin Yoga. So, you never really need any props for this class, but they're always really nice to have, I find. The more supported that you are, the better. Also, the more comfortable and warm you are, also better. So, I encourage you to layer up, put a heater on, all those good things if you are in a cold climate while you're doing Yin Yoga. Today, we're going to do some focus on the upper body, probably do a little lower body as well, but everybody just really seems to need the same thing right now. So I feel like everybody's world is a little bit crazy. It's like every person I talk to is like, shit just got real. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one, but I'm sad that it's all of us. So let's start off seated, ideally in a cross-legged position if it's available to you. Just taking a couple deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, kind of extracting yourself from your life for the next hour. So every breath, just allowing the world around you, the reality around you to slough away. Coming closer and closer to present moment in the physical body. Our brain really likes to hijack our body. That's why it's like you think about something in the past and maybe like kind of cringeworthy and your whole body will react to it. So we really want to move down out of the brain and into the physical body, the cells of our limbs, our bones, all of our muscles that we just kind of walk around and ignore. Sometimes I think aches and pains are just our body being like, hello, I exist too. So I'm really trying to shift my perspective of when I feel discomfort in my body, instead of being like, oh, there's that neck and shoulder pain again, or oh, there's that knee pain again. I just go, oh, hi. I'm sorry, if I'm ignoring you, let me just take a second to give you some love. Hmm. And the really beautiful thing about doing yoga online is that we have the opportunity to emote without feeling awkward. In a yoga class, you might not feel comfortable, and you might feel comfortable. I've had people do some crazy shit in yoga classes. But more often than not, people don't feel super comfortable, like letting out a really audible sigh or a moan or a groan. So I encourage it always in my yoga classes, but ain't nobody here to hear you. So go ahead and use the body's natural sound healing mechanism. When you get into poses and something hurts, say it. You know, how does that sound in your body? When something feels really good, how does that sound in your body? See if you can feel your heart beating through your whole body. Sense the blood moving. Think about expanding the breath further away from the lungs. Oftentimes we think that the breath is kind of like it's just this kind of like the 3 inches below our collarbones, but it's the whole body. As you inhale and exhale, your body expands and contracts, kind of like a blade of grass in the wind. The whole body will move if you allow it. So see if you can tune in to those very, very subtle movements that happen with the breath. We are nice and slowly going to move onto our sides and work some different directions of the spine. So I want you to come onto the right side. And you want to line yourself up in one long line. So you don't have your butt back or forward, but everything's in one long line. So my heels essentially reach through all the way to my elbow. My elbows under my shoulder. And then I'm going to actively sag my right rib cage down towards the floor. So as I do this, I want to make sure that I don't rotate that left shoulder forwards or kind of cave in my chest. I'm just melting that right side straight down. And then I do allow myself to sink into my into my shoulder a little bit here. So the shoulder's going to pull up, but it's in a relaxed manner. So weight of gravity is doing it. It's not something that we're actively shrugging the shoulder towards the ear. It's as we just let go of that musculature, it naturally reaches up, and you're going to feel a nice stretch kind of all the way around that shoulder joint, down into the rib cage. If you need support, you can keep your hand in front of you. Otherwise, I recommend kind of like lounging it down your body. That's just going to keep that left shoulder open more. If you do have a block and you feel like you really want that support, it's great to be able to put a block in front of you and then bring the hand onto it. And then drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. I've never actually seen what this pose looks like. And I look broken. So the ear is resting on the shoulder. The shoulders kind of pulled up because the rib cage is sinking into it. And then this bottom rib cage is really reaching, or not bottom, but side rib cage on the bottom is reaching towards the floor. And if you find that you're really unstable here, I'm just going to have you separate the feet, and you can kind of one in front of the other for a little more stability. So you're finding, especially if you've got, like for me, everybody's pelvis is a little different. And how our femur bones, our thigh bones connect up into the pelvis is different. So some of us connect a little bit more in the front, some of us connect a little bit more on the side, some of us are kind of kitty corner. And I know that for me, when I'm directly on my side, I'm like balancing on the head of the femur, and one, it's uncomfortable, and two, it's very unstable. So if it's uncomfortable, you can put a blanket in under it, or I usually use a double mat for that reason. And you might need extra support. And if you've got tight neck and shoulders, you're going to definitely feel like everything is kind of seizing up because all those muscles are actually freaking out right now. There's one thing to stretch, and there's another thing to like sink into tissue and have the bone almost be not stretched but lifted off of the bone, off of its attachment to each other or the bone. And it can definitely feel wonky. So that's normal. It's normal to have discomfort in yin. You want to avoid anything that is sharp or electric. Sharp or electric typically means nerve. If something is pinched, if you feel that, then you want to adjust. But aside from that, it can get pretty uncomfortable and still be quite safe. I want you to slowly pick your head up, which might be more challenging than it sounds because we've just been really melting tissue in the left side of the neck. And then you're going to push into that right arm. And you control how intense the stretch is by how close your right hand is to your right hip. Again, you might need to support the left hand on a block or on the mat, but you want to try to keep the left shoulder open. And we're gonna, again, just sink into that right shoulder. If you'd like, you can again drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. So this is feeling too intense, walk the right fingers away from you. We're gonna go ahead and bend the knees, bend the elbow, and bring yourself all the way down onto your side into the fetal position. If you've got a block, you can plop it under the head, but not necessary. It's such a deep opener for the side body. I find it's nice to take a little fetal position moment here. And then we'll go ahead and switch over to the left side. So we're starting off on our elbow, on our left hip, on one long line. Support if you need. sink into the left shoulder and then drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. Left rib cage is melting down towards the floor. And notice if you're still hanging on in your neck. So I just caught myself. My head seemed like it was completely relaxed, but then I was like, oh, there's another layer of relaxation here. So that right shoulder should be really soft. It's kind of like whack-a-mole. When we tell our body to relax in one place, oftentimes another place it just doesn't even need to be used, like your forehead or your jaw or your toes or your fingers, um, will light up and tense up. I see this all the time in my massage clients where it's like I'm working on one part of their body and I'm not even working deeply, and they will be like clenching a fist or just one finger. So kind of constantly have to chase tension in the body. Hmm. And we'll go deeper by lifting the head up, pushing into the shoulder, coming up onto the left hand. Again, you will make it more intense by moving your hand closer to your hip, less intense by moving your hand away from the hip. You want to be stacked on the legs and everything in one long line. You're kind of pressing the pelvis forward. And then the left rib cage drops down, left shoulder we sink into, and head can drop onto the shoulder if that's comfortable. head, bending the knees, lowering down, just taking a moment in the fetal position. Whew. Sink up. Go ahead and make your way onto your belly for Sphinx pose. So we'll be propped up on our elbows under the shoulders. And again, the rib cage is melting. We're really softening through the belly. And I encourage you to turn the feet in slightly, so really rotate from the upper thigh internally, and you'll feel that immediately start to open up across the top of the pelvis and the low back. If you find that you have a lot of low back tenderness, I invite you to just notice how you walk and how you sit and how you stand. Are you in internal rotation or are you in external rotation? External rotation is going to cause low back pain. Internal rotation is going to cause knee pain mostly. But we're in a passive position right now, so it's not going to cause any pain here. But if you were to walk around your daily life internally rotated, you would eventually have some knee pain. If you walk through your daily life externally rotated, you're going to have low back pain, some hip pain. If you are walking heel toe express front to back, you are not going to have any pain ideally. So if you're finding that you've got a lot of low back pain, it might have to do with how you walk. As a dancer, I had to retrain myself to walk with my toes pointed forwards. It took years, but it made a huge difference in my body. The ribs are kind of sliding down and forward so that we're tipping the chest up, keeping the collarbones wide. A nice open sternum. walk your elbows out a little bit. Bring the hands in front of the elbows and then press up into the hands. And you want to spread your fingers wide and your thumbs are going to point straight forward. So we're in a slight external rotation in the arm bones. We're not going to stay here very long, just about a minute. Bending the elbows back to the floor. And then just making a little cradle for your forehead with your hands, dropping the forehead down. You're going to take your right arm and put it straight out, shoulder height, palm flat down. Okay. Left hand is going to roll you over into that arm. I'm going to walk the fingertips away as I roll. You can use a block or a pillow as a pillow. And my left hand is going to keep me rolling into the right arm. Left foot gives me stability behind me. Spread the fingers nice and wide on the right hand and press them down into the floor. It's going to give you a little bit more intensity through the forearm and the inner lines of the arm. Rolling back onto your belly. We'll switch sides. So left arm comes out, right hand comes in front of the right shoulder. We roll over, walking the left fingertips as we go. Right foot provides a kickstand behind us, and that right hand is continuing to press us deeper into the pose. Spreading the left fingers, pressing gently down into the floor is going to intensify the action in the inner arm. Rolling back to your belly. Hands under your shoulders. Slowly peeling yourself up and back. Ready to come into a wide-kneed child's pose. You're going to just widen the knees, toes pointing together. And then we'll sit ourselves back. If you need some height under the hips, you can always take a block. And then drop the chest forwards. Go ahead and roll up. All right, so we've worked a lot of side body, rib cage, shoulders. And it's important to remember that even though we might be having pain in our upper body or in our spine or shoulders, that the hips and the low body really tie into it because we've got our quad muscles that turn into psoas and go up and under all of our internal organs and then attach up into our back. The body is a very, very complex creature, and you can't really just single one thing out. Your pinky finger attaches in some way, shape, or form to your left knee. So I wanted to make sure we left enough time, so we've kind of blown through everything today a little more quickly than a normal yin class might be done, because I wanted to make sure we could fit everything in. So we're going to come into a lunge. I'm going to bring that right foot forward. You can come up using blocks if that feels appropriate for you, or you can use the floor, or you can hang out on your knee, whatever feels good to you. And I'm sinking this left femur bone down and forward towards that kind of right heel. And as I'm doing that, I am also lifting my pubic bone up. So low belly lifts, pelvis tucks under. And it's like if we had a tail, it's as if we threaded it between the legs and somebody was pulling from somewhere in front of us. We're going to back up. Tell me that was not the longest 3 minutes of your life. And we're going to stack the hips on top of the left knee and straighten out that right leg. I like to press through the ball of my foot so I get a nice stretch through the top of the ankle as well. And then you're going to suck your right hip backwards and keep reaching through your right toes. And then allow the upper body to melt over top. I'm gonna climb back up. Bring that right leg back next to the left. Bring the left foot forward. Then we go back into another 3 minutes of bliss in our lunge. I call this dragon pose, I think, because you'd rather be slowly eaten by a dragon than spend more than 30 seconds of it. Backing out, lengthening out the left leg, keeping the top of the foot long, and then folding over, letting the upper body relax. Slowly walking up, bringing that left knee back. And we'll come around onto our backs for some Shavasana. So getting nice and comfy. Cover yourself in a blanket if you need to. Arms out, palms up. Taking a couple deep breaths. Using that exhale to really surrender down into your mat. Once again, deepening your breath, but this time using the inhale to energize every cell of your body. Try to feel that wave of breath moving through the whole body. Bending your knees, feet planted down onto the earth. Roll over onto one side. And then gently bring yourself back up to seated. We'll finish off with a breath work for the month, which is breath of fire. If you haven't seen the video on the membership portal, I'll talk you through it. If you're not familiar with breath of fire, it's a very energizing, invigorating breath, which is why it's called breath of fire. And it is, your focus is on your exhale. So it's a very quick paced breath. And we're kind of, it's almost like you were trying to blow out birthday candles with just your nose. And that forcefulness of the exhale, it's very quick, it's very short. automatically it creates a vacuum. So you don't have to worry about the inhale, it just kind of happens. And it really comes from your belly. So if you notice that you're trying to like do it from up here, you're feeling tense in your neck and shoulders while doing it or after doing it, think about the belly being this kind of like a waterbed. That like if you were to push down on it and push down it and do it really fast, that undulation that happens, that's kind of what you want your belly doing. And that'll take some time to happen to really get soft enough and comfortable enough with the breath to do that. So don't stress if you're kind of like, this isn't working right away. It will come with time. So what we'll do, I'll just do a couple breaths so that you can hear and see what it looks like, and then we'll do it all together. So what I do is I take a deep breath in, I really fill up, and then I exhale short through my nose. And I'm pumping through my belly. So it looks like in the belly is deep breath in, and then pumping. Okay, so let's do it all together. We're gonna try it for 60 seconds. So take a deep breath in, shoulders are relaxed, and begin. And release. Take a couple big inhales and exhales. Just release that. Great. So if you found yourself kind of like way up in your head for it, that's normal when you start off. If you found yourself like getting caught up in the inhale, exhale, just keep focusing on the exhale. Just exhale, 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 exhale. And you're really just pushing that out of your face as hard as you can with your belly with every exhale. And the inhale will just become very organic and natural. It's a great breath for energizing. So if you're just feeling lethargic and you're like, I gotta like get some energy up. Or I find it's really great when I'm irritated. Somebody's just aggravated me. I will take a little mental health moment either outside or in the bathroom or in the closet, wherever I can get some peace. And I'll just do like 3 minutes, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off of this. And then I'm like, whew, okay, I'm ready to be a human that doesn't have to kill anybody. So do what you will with that. And I will see you guys next week. Namaste.